Tuition is 8.5 million to 9 million yen per year. You know, it's expensive. But what is the reason for that? What would be one or two things that you think we need to revise about Japan? Why is it that Harrow is a Cambridge school, right? It's not International Baccalaureate. I want to give our two guests a very, very warm welcome. We have Mick Farley and Jane Chung here with us. They're both from Harrow International School, Appi, Japan, or Harrow Appi. They are here to speak with us about this amazing new school in Japan.
San konbanwa. It's very, very nice to meet you all online, and we're really pleased to be collaborating with Aisha and the team. So Mick Farley, the founding headmaster of Harrow Appi, headmaster of British School in Tokyo for 6 years, headmaster of Harrow's original international school in Bangkok for 7 years until 2019 when I moved to head office.
We have already received quite a few questions from members of the Levine education community. Why did Harrow choose Japan as its next destination?
It's extraordinary that Japan actually doesn't have a school like Harrow Appi. The match is wonderful, given Japan's deep valuing of education, the community more broadly, and one's role within community, align very nicely, in my opinion, with British education, British traditions, British values. Academic extracurricular activities like debate club or coding club, astronomy club. Actually, you need space to run an education like that. We weren't going to find it in Greater Tokyo.
When I think of a school as having space, I think of sports. I don't think of astronomy club, and I don't think of the extracurriculars, how really they would all benefit from more space. I've never thought about that.
This is a full boarding school. That's a real advantage for us because it means we can program 7 days. Not just the academics are going to be strong, but these enrichments, extracurricular style activities, of course, festivals and seasonal changes are going to gain, full participation. Up there in Tohoku, we've been really welcomed with open arms, and I'm not just talking about Iwate Prefecture, I'm talking about the local community members we've been meeting. Then engagement with our local community will be a very, very high priority.
地方でこういう学校を作ることにより、よりコミュニティ、その自治体とかとの関係性を作ることができて、よりその雰囲気も多分カリキュラムの中に取り入れられるから、やっぱり都内とかで作っちゃうよりも、もう周りのネイバーとか知らないじゃなくて、こういうところを選ぶのが面白いなって、確かに素敵だなって思いました。
So what I thought I'd do to start with is just use adjectives. British education, experiential, engaging, learning by experiencing, creative, individualized, progressive, always seeking to adapt. A theme that you're particularly interested in, Aisha, developing the individual to be self-aware, assertive. Okay, my adjectives for Japanese education: respectful, traditional, high bar for all. The sense of community. We're in this together. We're working together.
It's almost like America would be over here, as it usually is, and then Japan would be over here. And it's almost like the British education is a little bit more.
Maybe.
Yeah, because too much of America, I talk a lot about this, too much of that leads to the problem we have now in America, which is just chaos and people disagreeing and division.
To be frank, that hadn't crossed my mind. That plays for me, yeah. I think that extraordinary determination to do a good job.
Yeah. Anywhere you go in Japan, that applies. You can go to a little store, a little restaurant. The staff, the employee is doing their best. They're trying so hard. そこはね、もう本当に逆にアメリカに帰るとイライラするんだよね。なんでそれがないの? Like I get so frustrated when I go back to America. Where is your diligence? And I thought, oh yeah, I'm in America. We don't have that much of that.
There are many, many strengths to a traditional Japanese education. Having said that, there can be a price to pay because so much focus has been placed on the body of knowledge to learn stuff and then sit an exam and make sure that it's in there. And that is a great tradition and there's a place for rote learning. But if all that stuff is there about, the click 3 thumbs on the screen, it's more a question of what do you do once you have the information rather than having the information.
じゃあ結局どうやって使う? How are you going to use that knowledge is the important thing.
How to apply, yeah.
Cambridge hasn't done such a good job of promoting itself in Japan. You hear the word IB and you're like, that's got to be it. That's where I'm going to go. And I think parents, because it's very new to Japan, they don't know what to make of that. They don't know that there are other curriculums. For the A levels, you need to start specializing in something. You have to start thinking, what do I want to study? That's a little different than IB, where it's like, let's just be strong in a few areas. I was IB and more generalized, I think. Why is it that Harrow is a Cambridge school?
Both are very good programs. Both are globally accepted. And yes, you're right, Aisha. There's clearly been a policy decision by MEC to take this package, which is a very good package, the IB, particularly the 2-year program, the diploma program, and use that as an introduction to an international approach to education in Japan. You seem to know it very well, Aisha. All the way through to age 18, you're studying 6 subjects, 3 at higher, 3 at standard, and then all students also study CAS and TOP. The IB organisation don't have a monopoly on that sort of approach. The British approach is also, for high quality schools, is also to ensure that students are reflective learners. We've already talked about creativity, action and service. There's a huge commitment to that in the Harrow education. The best of the IB diploma, I would suggest, is also featured in good A-level programs. However, the big difference is our approach is to give our students a lot of experiences when they're young and then gradually allow them to specialise through the GCSE options and then even more so the A-level options.
It's not really necessary, I guess, for you to take the IB. You already have a lot of the best aspects of IB are already inherently in your curriculum anyways, and especially in a place like Iwate where you're so connected to the community. All of these aspects of contributing to your community, which is my favorite part of IB, is actually taking on a cause or something that you can feel like you're doing something good for your community. It's already naturally in your curriculum just because of even where you are. It makes sense. I'd like to talk about the tuition. Tuition is 8.5 million to 9 million yen per year. It's expensive, but what is the reason for that tuition?
We have very high quality teachers coming in from top schools, many of them from top private schools in the UK. And we wrap around that package the many different elements of the co-curricular offering that we've been discussing. That includes, for example, a ski pass, access to the golf course, as well as all these many activities that we've touched on. And then you've got the boarding element. So you've got accommodation, you've got food, you've got a medical centre, you've got all that is needed to make this a 24/7 safe, high-performing learning community. So that's all wrapped into the fee. We don't want any students, dipping into some activities but not other activities because mum hasn't paid for that. The fees are eye-watering. From a Japanese perspective, as the ex-head of the British School in Tokyo, I absolutely recognise that. What Harrow's offering here is a regional, in fact, it's a global boarding school. And really the comparisons can't be made to an international school. Really the comparison has to be made to schools around the world. The model is very common in Switzerland. where you actually have the three most expensive schools in the world. And in comparison, we're coming in at about 60% of their fees for a very, very strong academic output, as well as all the access to the mountains.
まあでも本当に学費の質問は
出ますよね。
すごい聞かれるので、すごくなんか納得する質問かなと思います。建築が終わってですね、このキャンパスをオープンしまして、キャンパス見学や、またスノーシューアクティビティとか、あとハローエクスペリエンスって言って1泊2日のですね、ハローの先生たちと、楽しいハローの経験を、雪の中でなんか楽しいことをしてみようというイベントを今企画しているので、ぜひね、よろしければ、都会から離れたい方、子どもたちなんか楽しいことを考えている保護者の皆様で、ぜひウェブサイトに来てご確認ください。
ぜひ行きたいというか、動画をぜひ撮らせてください。
ね、ぜひ遊びに来てください。
Yes, thank you. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and share so much of your educational philosophy. And it's a beautiful school, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. It's really good of you to have us, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a real pleasure, Aisha, and your team have been a dream. Thanks very much, and good luck everyone if there's anything we can help with in the future.
Have a great evening.
ありがとうございました。